Hi everybody, welcome back. It's LC Editor for World Aviation Festival, and today I'm joined by Jonathan Rockett, CEO of Datalex. Lovely to have you with us today, Jonathan.
Thank you for having me.
That's my pleasure. So we're going to be discussing, tech, retail, how that plays into aviation. So in terms of retail opportunities, do you think there are any that airlines are currently missing, and how have traditional retail strategies sort of inhibited growth? Where should we be looking next?
Yeah, so look, I think there's a lot of talk about offer and order and the transition away from the legacy technology. But I think one of the areas where airlines aren't talking as much as they should be talking is actually on the payment page. And so for us, and for many airlines, they spend a lot of money. There's a lot of talk about actually offering personalisation, offering more products, more ancillaries, and building that cart. But then a passenger gets to the end of the flow, and we don't care as much about the final step as we do about everything else. So I think that's a bit where airlines have the potential to actually drive real value. Like in Datalex, we play in the offer and order space. That's kind of our anchor solutions. But we've also launched Datalex Pay, a payment solution, which is basically focused at that last step. Because it's annoying for us because we work really hard to get someone there, and we only get paid if they make a payment and board the plane. If it's annoying for us, the stakes are so much higher for an airline. So actually for an airline who misses out on a customer who's built that, it's a huge value loss for them. So that's the area where I think there should be probably more focus than there is within an airline, particularly in their retailing strategy.
Yeah, getting people over that final hurdle.
Exactly.
Obviously, AI, I'm a huge talking point at the event. How do you think it should be used in terms of sort of retail and payments? Is it a case of informing stronger pricing strategies, or where do you see the opportunities there?
Yeah, like I think the biggest fear, I'm an accountant by trade, yeah. So I think one of my biggest things is what's the audit trail? How controllable is it? And I think that's one of the fears with AI. AI is the buzzword. Everyone's talking about AI. Let's drive efficiency. Let's increase revenue. But when it actually comes down to it, an airline doesn't want to actually concede full control away from what their bread and butter is, which is kind of pricing a flight and getting people on that journey. So I think AI will definitely have an impact and will continue to grow the impact. Areas where pricing, I think again are important, but I think where it will drive adoption is with the right control mechanisms around it. So we have a pricing AI solution, and within that, what we're allowing is airlines plug in their own data models. So therefore, they can build those models, train those models, and test those models against their internal models, against our models, but it allows them have more control. We're also building the ecosystem, the control center, where you can put limits on it. And for me, that's really performant, particularly during a go live phase, that you don't want to push it too high, you don't want to push it too low. So you're creating the middle ground where you can test and learn. So it's a far easier integration and onboarding of the process. So AI, yes, it's a buzzword, but it's more than a buzzword. People are acting on it. But I think there is still a fear of what control do we have. And I think AI with control is the right way to go.
Yeah, there's echoing a lot of sentiments I've heard elsewhere. But to feed in with AI, what sort of it matches up with AI, but personalisation, is this sort of the game-changing strategy that everyone thinks it is in terms of retail and pricing? And how can it be deployed in the most effective way to get as close to that customer as possible?
Yeah. So I think there is a fear when people talk about personalisation that they jump to personalisation. There's a lot of easy wins by just doing the basics right. And I think, so first and foremost, any airline should go, am I actually doing my basics right? Am I building my foundation blocks? And then when they have that and that is optimized, then you bring the personalization onto it. So I think where the market is going, and we go on that offer and order journey, we move away from, I suppose, static fare classes and fares, and into a more dynamic environment. Yes, 100% there's value in that. But I wouldn't advise an airline to jump there. I'd do the basics first and then go into dynamically bundled solutions which use your personalization. I've seen personalization work really well where I was going on holiday with kind of my family, so myself, my wife, 2 kids. Where we went to one airline, checked the price. We went to another airline. One airline gave us, everyone is on the same fare that, whether it's kind of one bag each or one cabin bag each, or whatever the case may be. And then I went to a different airline, and it actually goes, you're probably a family, so you get 1 large bag and 3 smaller bags. And they're like, well, actually, that's way more effective. So yes, it can work. But basics first, make sure those foundations are solid and build from there.
Yeah, definitely a walk before you run.
Yeah.
To walk first. So yeah, to talk more about those foundations, what is it that you actually need in place to execute those kind of strategies effectively? Is it sort of a strong sort of data building blocks? What is it that you need to really get those strategies in place?
Well, like I think everything starts with data, right? Is that without the data you can't do anything with AI, you can't do anything with personalization. So you definitely need, or airlines definitely need a data strategy, because a lot will underpin that data strategy. Whether it's AI, whether it's rules, whether it's just making changes, everything is sourced from data, and there's too much at stake just for someone to make a call without being able to substantiate, well, this is why I'm making this decision. So data is massively important within that journey, and I think data for that full journey is important. Like we have a digital configurator where you can actually see all the routes that our kind of an airline is going, all the bag attachment rates, all the kind of seat attachment rates. And by just looking at that data, not using AI, not using personalization, you can go, hang on, why is that route, which is going from Canada to Paris, different to that route, which is going from Canada to Montreal? Should be pretty consistent. But if there's a difference, you're going to go in and have a look at it. You don't need AI, you don't need personalization, but it's the data which is driving a decision, which will actually drive more revenue for the airline. So they're one of the examples where the foundations work, but they only work if you actually have the data to support the decisions that you want to make.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for sharing your insights today, Jonathan. Really good to speak to you. And
really good. Thank you for having me.
no problem.
Cheers.